Sea Palace. Stop it! Stop it! I said, stop it, Spoons! Get over to your corner. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Junior, turn that off, leave it off, because this is supposed to be... What are you still doing there, Spoon? Get over, move on. It's supposed to be a football channel. What are they going to think over there in the USA? The soccer thing, I'm okay with that. What are they going to think out there? What's wrong with you two? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What are they going to think out there? Welcome to Diego Sea Palace. Let me introduce you to the team here. I don't need to because you've seen them. But anyway, here in the red corner, we got the Spoon. In fact, we come over here because I don't trust you over there. Come over here because do you know what? No. Right, let me prop you up here, man, because you know what I mean? You're just taking the bubble. So where's the quiet ones? You know what I mean? Anyway, here in the red corner, we got the Spoon. Today, the Spoon is in charge of the light, the sound equipment, and security. We don't need security here in South London, because South London, all you get is love. You know what I mean? You don't get cut up at the lights. If you got a ride, you got your Harley. If you park up your ride, you go in to get your bacon roll or whatever. You come back, ain't no one sitting on your ride, you know. It's just pure love down here in South London. Spoon mostly does, it's his security up in North London. Either side of the marshes, if you know, you know. And I think he's done some work out in West London, you know, smashing up all those bubbles out there. But I think most of the money that he gets, it's down at SW6. If you know, you know. So that's what I think he does over there. But what? The Spoon is saying that even working out in Harsden. In Harsden? What the? You know what? You know what? Back in the day, Harsden used to be lit. You could park up in that car park in the middle, go over to the market, get yourself some coriander leaves, get yourself some cassava, some vegetables, make your way back. Go into Burger King, get yourself your burger, your double onion ring portion, make back to your car and then say, oh yeah, then go and get my pay in this place. Now, damn, even if you can even get to the car park in there, it's madness there. You get a ticket before as you pull the handbrake, you get a ticket there straight away. It's madness. Got 2 tickets there last year. Liberties. Don't know what's happened to Harsden. But enough about you, Spoon. This ain't about you. This is about football. Anyway, over there in the blue corner, we've got Dave Jr. Dave Jr. is a student. He's there on the computer thing. He's on the typing away there. He's the one in charge of the cutting, the editing. I don't know. I think these youngsters, he wants to be like a rotor artist or go into compositing or something. I don't know. These youngsters want to live in the clouds. Somebody tell me what's going on with this young. But he's a student over there. Big up to the students. Dave Jr. over there got your corner. Now, I got your corner. So if you're a student out there, if you're due, I don't know, a new iPad, a new iPhone, if you're about to graduate, and you need tickets for Glastonbury or the Reading Festival, fight for your rights. Dave Jr. over there. And come to think about it, I got your corner. So there you go. Right, let's get that out of the way. And then there's me. It's just a Palace fan. Yeah, just an Eagles fan. You know what I mean? It is what it is. If you know, you know. I'm going to start this video with talking about what happened with Patrick Vieira being appointed quickly, landing for the first at Crystal Palace, and his first season, the second season, and a bit. And of course, he's now been let go. And also then just talk about Roy Hodgson, of course, now been appointed. Before I kick off about those two, I've got to quickly, because I nearly forgot in the excitement, is that the response that the channel's had from everyone from you out there, it's been overwhelming. the subscriptions, the likes, the everything, the traction the channels had. I'm really, really grateful. So thank you very much for that response. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. So whomever you are out there, thank you. Right. So Patrick got appointed as the Crystal Palace manager back in the day. And it wasn't the first selection at first. One day was one person, the next day was somebody else, then it was somebody else. Whoever was organising all that team, I swear they must have clocked up a few air miles. And eventually they selected Patrick Vieira to be the coach, the manager of Crystal Palace. Now, for me, whenever a manager gets appointed at Crystal Palace, I always like to think that I need to try and understand what have they done in coaching and as a manager in their careers. I don't like it when somebody comes in and they've had like zero experience in coaching or in management. I don't think that's to go straight knocking wood to go into the Premier League. I'm thinking no. Not at my club, not the club that I love in Crystal Palace. So I looked into what he obviously done at Manchester City, what he'd done at Nice, what he'd done in the States. And I've always been also of opinion that if the coach or the manager is from another country, from another nation, I need to know that that coach, that manager has done some work back in his yard. Because you need to, I feel, as a coach, as a manager, learn your trade where you started playing football, where you started getting the hint of idea, getting that itch. So, you know, one day I want to be a coach. I want to be a manager. I want to see that. I want to see that in their CV sort of thing. So when he came in, I was like, okay, that's important. He's had some experiences. Now, cut a long story short, the season started, and as the season progressed, game after game, I felt that the players, when Patrick Vieira came in, did what he could in the sense that, because he had a lot of players leaving and a lot of players that still stayed at the club, and you had established players, you had young players maybe trying to maybe break into the team, and also you had some players coming towards the end of their career. So he had to think on his feet, I expect, in his squad when he first came in at Crystal Palace. And three things that I felt that throughout the first season that Patrick Vieira did very well with his coaching staff and his squad of players was to, one, listen to his players, two, the players were listening to him, and the third one, they wanted to play for their old man, for the gaffer, for their manager. The result in that was being taken to Wembley. I had a wonderful day that day, although Chelsea, you know, they won the game. The fans at Wembley on that occasion, on that day, we won. All day long. Allowed it, jammy Chelsea. That's right, I said it, jammy Chelsea. That's right, I said it. I said it with chest. Anyway, so Patrick Vieira, his coaching staff, and the squad of players got to Wembley. Why is that important, the Wembley experience? It's not so much that, is that in comparison, if you look at the transfer windows prior to when Patrick Vieira got appointed and the one window that he had in that first season, in the middle of the season, the other clubs that we were competing with, they were shopping with, some of them had no ceiling or where the expenditure is in transfers, and also other clubs capable to, like the net spend of what Crystal Palace do, they were just spending and spending and spending. So for me, I was like, where are we shopping? Where is Patrick Vieira and Doogie and all the other people that look into those situations? Where are we shopping? Where everybody is shopping? Other clubs were shopping, I swear. If you know Kensington High Street, there's a World Foods Market in there. Go into the supermarket, go down the stairs. No, it's not stairs, it's an escalator. Go down the escalator. When you get to the bottom of the escalator, lick a left. There's a cheese room. Push the door, the wooden door across, walk into the cheese room, and you can pick the best fromages from around the world. You get the best fromage from every province in France, in the Netherlands, from the UK, from Ireland, anywhere. But you can pick what you want. Palace weren't doing it. We weren't doing that then. We ain't doing it now. I tell you where we be shopping and where we shopping. We're shopping still in Woolworths. That's right, in Woolworths. And we ain't in the, in the Premier little aisle. We're at the bargaining basket at the end. No disrespect to the squad that we got in there. But I'm just saying in comparison to other clubs, in the expenditure where they spend. It's just, to get to Wembley in that first season, Patrick Vieira and his coaching staff and the players, they did very well to get there with, of course, the Crystal Palace fans. Now, the second season started and I felt that game by game, things started to unravel. Whether there was issues inside the changing room that we can't see as football fans. Also, I guess eventually it'll all come out, but I think that's not what's important right now. But what I'm trying to say is that game by game, the performances that were not relating to what I felt Patrick Vieira, the coaching staff, and the players wanted to produce. It just wasn't clicking. So for me, it was frustrating, and it got to the point where I was like, this is not, in comparison to the first season that he was there, there's something not right. What are the main issues, in my opinion? First one that sticks out like a sore thumb, Conor Gallagher. Not just the name, but the ability that that player had to contribute to a given situation during a game, whether you're on the back foot or whether you're attacking as a team. He was critical. He was crucial in that first season for Patrick Vieira and his coaching staff. He wasn't replaced. There's some good players that came in. We know their names, and they're good. They leave everything on the pitch. No doubt, no doubt. I've seen them. But there is levels to things, and I think then I expect a manager and a coaching staff then have to look and see, right, this is what we have, and these are the opponents that we've got coming at us. Okay? Make no mistake about this. The Eric Ten Hag over Manchester United, they know what at least they can do. The man go 90 minutes without complaining, without moaning. Over 90 minutes, has the composure to put himself what he can do best, and did a world-class free kick. Pep Guardiola, just recently, I see him down at Selhurst Park. At the end of the game, the man was hugging and talking to Eberechi. I was like, get away from Eberechi, get away from my man. You know what I mean? Managers like that understand what not just those two players can do. Jurgen Klopp, when he came to Selhurst Park recently, he could see what the players can do. So they will have an eyeful of like, these players here playing for Crystal Palace, for Patrick Vieira, in that instance, they can step up to levels. But on the attacking front, it just wasn't working. So the second season for Patrick Vieira and his coaching stuff, for me, it just didn't hit the mark in comparison to the first season. And for me, the last straw was the away game at Villa. It's so cruel. But they know, they're professionals, they know that it's a result business. But it was just that goal that Wilfried Zaha scored, and it wasn't allowed because it was offside. And then what resulted from the game after that, the performance, I was like, no, we need to do better than this. There's something missing. There's not just one thing. Maybe there's one or two, three things. There's something, it's not right. And for me, I was like, something's going to give here. Why do I say that? And that is now, it's going to take me into Roy Hodgson. I believe that Crystal Palace is at a crossroads. What do I mean by that? It's very simple. Can the individuals at Crystal Palace, including obviously the chairman and the majority holder at Crystal Palace at present, can they sustain not 1 year, but 2 years in the Championship, coupled with everything that's going on off field, the new stand, the investment into the academy, into the women's football team. There's probably so many other things that are going on. They're going on different platforms at Crystal Palace. There's a lot of commitment. I expect there's a lot of investment going into that. There's a lot at stake, and I expect that the majority holder at Crystal Palace and the people around him felt that right now they weren't upset, but they were extremely concerned about the fallout should we get relegated. Because make no doubt about it, if I mentioned those managers earlier on, the Eric Ten Hags, the Jurgen Klopps, the Pep Guardiolas, they know of players that we've got. I'm going to be real. You take out Joe Anderson, Mark Gahey, no particular order, Eberechi Eze, Michael Lise, Gaisha, Vincent Haita. If you take those players out, and they will be taken out because there's clubs out there that know of their capabilities. As an example, what's left at Crystal Palace? Can we challenge to a playoff position in the Championship right now? The answer is no. Absolutely not. So, for me, it's a crossroads of where the club is right now, and we need to focus on what's on hand, and that is to maintain Crystal Palace in the Premier League. For me, the appointment of Roy Hodgson is a good appointment, and I'm going to say why, but you're going to take a drink because my mouth is really dry. 1 minute. Oh, yeah. That's a good year. Anyway. For me, the appointment for Roy Hodgson is a good one, given the circumstances of what the situation at Crystal Palace is, and I'm going to tell you why. With Roy Hodgson, you don't need to tell that type of football manager how his game is going to be played. He's probably managed more games than the players in the squad combined. You don't need to tell Roy Hodgson, given the situation where the club is right now, with the players and how it is in what I call the crossroads with the club. You don't have to tell a manager or a coach of what he needs to do and what he can't do, really, especially with all this social media. So I think he fits the bill for that. And then the third thing is, I think what he can bring is, I think the word they're using now is energy, and energy here and energy there. Another seasoning of energy to the players, because I expect the players were hurting because of what just occurred. They just lost their manager, but they're professionals, and so I think Roy Hodgson will bring a type of energy, not only to calm certain situations down in that changing room, but to bring the energy here, put a bit more energy there. You know what? There's a Liverpool fan out there that there's the energy. Yeah, I mean, I reckon he got it from there. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so so for me, I think Roy will be able to do those three elements on his first day in training. My concern about Roy being appointed at Crystal Palace is not because of a want and need and desire for him to succeed at what he does as professionally as a manager. And I'm be careful how I say this, because hopefully I'll get there one day myself. He's 75 years old. He should be kicking it out with one of these out in Corsica or in Sardinia or Switzerland. You know what I mean? With his wife, I think he's got a son, or with his kids, and with his dog or a cat, or I don't know what he has out there. That's what he should be doing right now, kicking it out. But it's a woman. Oh my God. It's definitely a good year. Anyway, listen, that's what he should be doing it at right now. He should be kicking it out with a glass of vino somewhere. Anyway, but he's not. That's not Roy Hodgson. Roy is not the type of manager to take things from the game. For me as a football fan, when I've looked at him, he's a giver. He's a giver of a coach to his squad of players, to who's appointed him at whatever responsibility in the football club to do. He's a giver to the game. And my concern is I just hope nothing happens to him, because I can only phantom or imagine the pressures of a Premier League football manager must have on that touchline in the midst of a game where maybe there's a dip in form during the game as it's proceeding, as an example. I can only phantom the pressure, the psychological, the feelings that they will experience, because they know that their players can up levels, but it's just not working out. He's 75 years old, so he needs to just do what he can, in my opinion. The coaching staff around him, Paddy's still in there from the unders, they all need to shield him. They all need to be firewalls to protect him, to enable him to I think, get his message out as best as possible to his squad of players, and just, as I said earlier on, give her that energy thing back to them in some form or way. I think he can do it. I don't think we'll go down, but we can't be leaving it to the last game. I think it's against West Ham. So for me, I think the appointment of Roy Hodgson, given the circumstances of where the club is now, with all the things that they're investing in and doing, it's a no-brainer as a Crystal Palace fan. As for Patrick Vieira, as I said earlier on, I expect that in his next challenge as a coach, as a manager, he will succeed. He will succeed, and I wish him all the best. As for Roy Hodgson, we need to allow him to get this group of players to remember their individual levels of performances in training, to enhance that training by training every day, and then on match day to have the mentality, the know-how that say, you know what, I'm actually going to deliver here today. And I hope he can do that with his coaching staff. Now, one thing I'm going to say, which I wasn't going to say, but I am going to say, it's a message out to the majority holder, the chairman. Right now, if there's anyone at Crystal Palace that are trying to put their backs to the wall and not do anything, and just like say, you know what, I've done my bit, it's that person over there, they need to do their thing. We don't need them at Crystal Palace. I know it's easier said than done, but just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. I don't care who they are, what they are, get rid of them. Now is the time for everyone at Crystal Palace FC to focus on the job on hand and allow Roy to get his message out to those squad of players, not just on match days, but in training, to say, we're coming to work, and yes, it is work. We're going to improve our individual levels of performances in training, individually and collectively as a squad. And come match day, we're going to get it right. So it's cruel. It's cruel watching some. If I've been a Palace fan since 89, 90 season, and if you're a Palace fan from back in those days, then you know how many managers we've had. You know the circumstances of going down, going up can mean to you. And the one manager which I thought, quickly I'll say, that I thought I would have loved to have been appointed right now, it's a gentleman called Steve Kemba. If you're a Palace fan, I think he might still be on a payroll. It's a scout, I don't know, I could be wrong. But if you're a Palace fan and you hear the name Steve Kemba, you should understand what that gentleman did for all of us. Yeah, but it is what it is. Roy Hodgson is the man to lead us out of the relegation scrap, and I sincerely hope he does that. So, yeah, right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I just, as I say, want to reiterate the the response that every single one of you out there have done to the channel at Diego C Palace. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've liked the content prior to today's upload, please give it a like. Please comment or do whatever you can on it to just help the traction on the channel. But to whomever you are out there, thank you very much for the response. And on behalf of the spoon here, not me a spoon, what's wrong with you? On behalf of the red corner here, the spoon, and the blue corner over there, Dave Jr., and myself, Diego, at Diego C Palace, thank you very much for watching. Catch you next time. Come on, Palace, we can do this. Go on, spoon, you do your thing, man. I'm going to step out of the way, because this is just, this is like my... Diego C Palace.